Bloody Season by Brian Delvalle. Winter has begun. I head home after a date with a beautiful girl named Rose. She was everything to me. However, I had a long day. I wanted to relax. I walked to the bathroom, removing everything I had, and went into the shower. The warm water touched my skin. It felt nice for a while. Then from my nose, I feel a warm liquid from my nose. I open my eyes to see a small drop of blood on my hand. Then my nose started dripping blood on my arm, my hands and arm down to my leg. I put water in my nose, making the blood stop for now. I leave the shower. I head to my room. I get dressed, getting ready for bed. I lay down onto my bed, thinking about Rose as I rest, dream about the unknown. I feel a small liquid from my nose. I quickly get from my bed, covering my nose, running to the living room to get some paper. I'd look at my hand to see them covered in blood, as if I beat someone or killed someone. I put paper in my nose, then I clean the blood stains. There was blood on the door handle, blood on the door, and some on the floor. I clean it all open, and then I go back to sleep. Morning comes, and I wake up and get to work at my job. I see Rose and everything from last night disappear. I run up to her, hugging her tightly. As the day goes on, I drive myself back home. I sit down watching TV. However, I get a piece of paper, and I blow my nose, only to see the paper covered in red. My nose started bleeding again. I text Rose for help. She tells me to go to a hospital. I said no because it was too much money, so I put water into my nose, staining it again. I text Rose that I am okay, at least for now. I go to the shower, only to bleed again. Over the past days, I have been bleeding after bleeding after bleeding. One day as I go to work, Rose is with me. She's worried about me, but I tell her I'm fine. As the workday continues, I wake up to see a small blood drop. I cover my nose. I tell Rose. She gasps. Then she gets me some paper. Everyone looked at me in shock. Even the lovey-dovey couple was in shock. I wanted to cuss them out, but I won't any better later. I go home only to bleed again. This is starting to piss me off. Not only was this annoying, this was dangerous. I start researching what starts nosebleeds. I sigh and turn off my Chromebook. Later that night, I started brushing my teeth. Then my brush was covered in blood. I spit into the sink, only for my nose to start to bleed, so now my mouth and nose was bleeding. At the same time, my sink was red with blood. I look into the mirror. I started cackling as my mouth and nose and chest are covered in blood. I stop. I shower. I go to work. However, I start to have thoughts about attacking my coworkers at the meeting. My boss talks about disturbing things. I looked at him with a smile and say, "You want to see something disturbing?" I distribute blood onto his floor. He told me to get the hell out, so I did. I ran away from work and into my house. I went to a hospital. They did some tests on me, and they found out something that wasn't meant to be seen. Then a woman with red hair shows up. She's not a doctor or a nurse. She sits next to me and explains everything.
Let me explain this to the best of my ability. You're basically pregnant with a parasite. Do you remember when the sky was grey in 2053? Well, 1 year later, 2054, did you eat something white or black or red?
My face freezes as I hear that there is a creature inside me. I asked her for more, and she told me everything.
The air was secretly contaminated with the air of a man from a world of insanity and death. This is the makings of a king that can bring light to the darkness. A king in white, the new great sleeper of R'lyeh. He will come for you if you don't get that creature removed or killed.
The doctors stop my nose from bleeding. I go home. I run to the bathroom. I release everything. I scream as I release this demon from my body onto the toilet. I open my eyes to see the bathroom is all red. I look at the bloody toilet to see what I just created. The animal was as small as a human baby. It was covered in my blood. It looked like a chest burster from Aliens. White, small arms and legs with black eyes. I grab my gun. With one shot, I killed the alien that caused me so much pain in my life. For 2 weeks of bleeding. I just hope this is the only time I come across aliens from beyond. I'm thankful I didn't bleed anywhere, like a party or on a bus. And that's the story on how I ended up in a mental asylum. They think I'm crazy, but I know that The King in White is watching. The end.